Oh, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hot Pudge IG Live. My name is Pudge Fernandez. I'm your host. Again, episode 22. We have a great episode again. We have an awesome guest on standby. Very excited. I don't like to waste any time. Let's bring him up. This guy has a lot under his belt, man. Quite a resume. College basketball, comedian, and one of the proprietors of the Grizzly Pear Comedy Club on McDougal Street. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Warren. Look, I love the intro. Look at that. He knows. This guy knows.
Yeah, man. We trying to get it right. Trying to get y'all some ambiance.
I mean, you know about the intro. I mean, college basketball. You played.
Yeah, man. I came from Portland, Oregon, and in high school I was playing against like Damon Stoudemire and Terrell Brandon and, guys that went to the NBA. So I ended up going to a Division II school, Cal State Bakersfield. And I think it was the best thing for me because I went there. I started for 4 years. We had a lot of success. We went to 4 Final Fours.
I couldn't hear. You said you went to Division I?
Division II.
Oh, Division II. Okay.
Yeah, Cal State Bakersfield was Division II back then. They went Division.
Oh, you sound better now. You sound good. Yeah, just gotta.
They went Division I since, but they was Division II when we was there, and we won a couple national championships in '93 and '94. So, Now
I've never played against you. I've never seen you play, but I imagine you got skills because we're the same height.
I know.
I'm only 5'10".
When I was young, I was quick like a cat.
Yeah, because height is like the number one requirement. Like 6'1", 6'2" is short. You're 5'10", so if you made the team.
If you can shoot and you quick and you can dribble real good, then you cause a lot of problems.
I can only imagine. I mean, Division II, shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like the only other, there's not too many comics who play. I think John Laster played, right? Was he Division I or II?
He went Division I.
Wow. And Chris DiStefano, I think, was Division III.
Yeah.
Shit. We should put up like a little college, a little comedy basketball. We got all these ball players and shit, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
fuck.
We've done that. Every time I played the last, probably 10 years, I'll end up pulling something or twisting.
Oh, word?
So I was like, man, I got to figure out another sport, tennis or something.
Golf. Golf is safe.
Golf.
So how you doing so far? Oh, as far as with the epidemic, last time I saw you was a couple months ago. By the way, thank you again for doing 6 feet 6 questions. I got to see you. I went up to the Bronx. We both had our PPE, and I guess we were in phase 1. Last time I saw you, we were not even phase 1 before.
Yeah.
We weren't even in phase. We were at the peak.
The peak. It was peak time. We was probably 10 feet away because you got to be careful.
Yeah. And now here we are. We're in phase 4. We're still not letting people indoors, but we're a little bit closer. And I'm thinking about you because I know every comedian, we've all been hurting as far as a comic, not being able to go on stage. But for you, it's a bit of a double hurt because you're one of the proprietors of the Grizzly Pear Comedy Club. So it's like a double pain. Like, how does that,
It might
work
be a triple pain too, because I'm a barber during the day. We just came back about a month ago, so that was tough too. But the Grizzly Pear, we working on trying to do some outside shows. We did one about 2 weeks ago, and we got some noise complaints. You can't be the first on the block for comedy. So,
on McDougal Street? You got noise complaints on McDougal Street?
Exactly. We had, and they had the seating set up outside. It was nice. We had a couple comics got up, and then we got the complaint. So I was like, all right, we're gonna cut the show, and then we're gonna figure out how to do a show where people can use headphones and sit outside.
That's some hating shit. I've seen that happen before. Back in like a few years ago when I was working at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club, I've always heard people sporadically complaining upstairs about the noise. I'm like, why do you live there? This is McDougal Street. Did you not know? And it's not something that and for those of you watching, like McDougal Street is in West Village. It's a bohemian neighborhood where artists and bar have been going there for decades. It's not an overnight thing. It's been there for at least 50 years. Bars, lounges, cafes, and music and comedy. So it's like, what, you knew what you were getting yourself into. You're just being a bitch. That's what I say.
I mean, you know how it goes, man. So, we just got to regroup. And, we just trying to slowly get back to our normal, not this new normal. This new normal, that's not even a word. Like, so many words have been made up over this pandemic. Like,
yeah.
Distancing, those are opposite end of the spectrum words. They don't even make sense, I don't know, man. It's a trip to watch because now we start.
It's a trip. And this new normal is bringing on new things. Let me ask you, where do you stand on Zoom comedy?
So, the comedy is an art, and it's about the man or the woman on stage and the crowd interacting with each other. It's like a dance, when you got the crowd in the palm of your hand. You know what I mean? When you're on Zoom, you don't have the crowd in the palm of your hand. You have your mouse. It's different. It's not the same. And you don't get the same feedback. You don't get that same rush from them reacting to what you just said. It's like a beat that's missing. So, I mean, it's a way to stay, brushed up and keep, practicing new material and everything. So I'm not against anybody doing going through. But that's not I prefer live, face-to-face, hand-to-hand contact.
I'm with you. I agree. As I'm talking to you in the background, it's so funny. I'm watching a baseball game, right? Now, what's funny about the baseball games is the stadiums are empty, obviously, but they're pumping in the crowd noise. But at the end of the day, they don't need it. They don't, it's nice, but it's not necessary. It's not part. You don't need crowd noise to hit a home run, to pitch, okay? It's not part of their rhythm. It's part of our rhythm. You said it. We're artists. It's an art, and it's a part of our craft. It's part of our timing mechanism. So, yes, it is necessary. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe we should have noise pumped into our shows or something, or the Zoom shows, because I did one, and I couldn't tell. Right. I couldn't tell if I hit or miss. And at the beginning of the epidemic, like everybody else, of course, I was doing Corona jokes. I had like a dozen Corona jokes. I was doing them. But I don't know. Some of them hit, some of them didn't. But I couldn't tell. I couldn't react appropriately. Yeah. I've said it a million times. It's like I was floating in space. I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? It's just that weird effect. And I'm like, shit.
Not the way comedy is supposed to be done. We just going through this period of transition. It's gonna weed out people that weren't really serious about it.
Yes.
It's gonna because we come back, when people start doing shows, they're gonna want to put the hardworking people, the people that been,
right.
They're gonna be wanting to put those people on stage. It's not gonna be no room for that. Like, it was always like that. Oh, we want to just be a part of the comedy community, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, but it's gonna be. I said it. I've had this conversation. You're not the only one. When shit gets back to normal, whenever that is, we don't know when. Could be September, could be January. It's gonna be dog eat dog. All right, because this epidemic, this pandemic, this quarantine has leveled and kind of equalized the playing field. No matter where we were before March, because we were all, we're different depending on who you are and where you were and what you did. But now we're all here. Now that we're going through this quarantine, who's doing what?
Exactly.
Who's doing nothing? Who's doing nothing? Who's sleeping? And think they're going to walk back in like, hey, I'm here again, and who's not? You know what I'm saying? So it's mad interesting. I can't wait. You're not the only one, bro. I've had this conversation with some other comics, and we're laughing because we're like, holy shit. I mean, it could be us. It's going to be, we're not walking in. I'm just saying, but it's going to be interesting to watch.
Just the fact that over this COVID time, you stepped out of your comfort zone and created a platform for comics to be able to, you know, this right here, what we having right now, this is better than Zoom because we react and responding to each other's comments.
Yes. Thank you.
And so like, so you're getting your work right now when you consistently keep coming back every week, doing your show, having people on there, coming with questions, hitting them, talking about stuff, bouncing stuff back and forth. You're keeping yourself prepared for when that stage comes back. You're gonna be ready.
This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I need to keep the brain active. I'm an artist. It's funny. I say it more than ever because before we were comics, we were artists. No question. But once when the pandemic hit and we got quarantined, and I felt that impulse to create, that now I feel like I'm proud. Holy shit. I really am an artist. I can't sit here. I can't be on stage. And I needed to do something. So this is the creative impulse happening live. And it's something that's been missing. But I guess because I said it before in other episodes, technologically and as far as creating content, I was always behind. That's where I slacked off when it came to comedy. But I guess I didn't know what I was missing because I was too busy being a comedian.
Right.
But once you took comedy away, I was like, oh shit. And now I was able to focus on this, and it's just working out really good. I feel great. And this is our workout. Because this is better than Zoom, because we have each other as an audience. And let me tell you, not only Zoom, but in the beginning I was doing Facebook Lives by myself, and it didn't last because I can only talk. I don't know. I need something. I need cause and effect.
Yeah.
I still need work on that. There's some guys who can talk to the camera, like and free think, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm not there yet. I need this. So I kind of dropped that, and I'm going here with the lives. It's just it's working out.
Nah,
and I see you're doing some stuff too.
Yeah, well, you know, I created a show called Blazing Trails with a Road Runner because I'm from Portland, Oregon, and Cal State Bakersfield is the Road Runner. So I'll get guys that may have played for the Trailblazers, but they were in the NBA back, you know, during the golden years with Michael Jordan was playing during this time. Most of these guys, but I've had Mario Elie and Bonzi Wells and Damon Stoudemire, Chris Childs, Derek Anderson, Allen Houston, Rashid.
Yeah, Rod Strickland. I saw that one. Yeah.
So player after player. I just had Ira Newble. I had Tracy Murray. Ime Udoka, all these NBA guys. Some guys are still coaching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this Monday coming up, I got Corey Brewer, who plays for the Kings, and he's in the bubble. So he's gonna give us the interview.
Oh, the inside dope.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's some good content shit. I like that.
It's me. I know basketball. I know the questions to hit them with. You know how they grew up, how they decided to go to what college. Because you learn stuff like I learned that Allen Houston went to Tennessee because his dad was the coach, and he was the first black coach in the SEC. He had already had a scholarship to Louisville. They let him out of his scholarship so he could go play for his dad. And that's just like that's history, really. Right.
Well, yeah, I remember him from the Knicks back in the day.
So I mean,
have you had Kenny Anderson on?
I tried to get Kenny Anderson. Something happened. I'm gonna try to get him back. I did a get to the end clip with him back at the barbershop a couple years back, but I talked to him. I'm back and forth with him on the, but I couldn't.
Because he's local. He's my local. He's Queens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really local. Like our high schools were less than 10 minutes apart. He went to a private school where my friend went. One of my best friends. I went to school with him around the same time, and when he was coming up, I was in a public high school, and when we would go watch our basketball game, we'd be at our basketball games, watching our basketball games, talking about him at his basketball game. That's how hot he was. Yeah. This was in high school. I think we're the same age. So my high school basketball, and everyone's talking about him at Archbishop Malloy.
Right.
Yeah. And he was also local, and he also had a thing at one of the parks over here, the Kenny Anderson Classic.
Yep.
at a Hoffman Park. I used to play there all the time growing up. So, yeah, let me know when you got him. I'd love to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna work on that. Yeah, I'm gonna work on him. But yeah, man. No, it's just good, man. It's a good opportunity. And then Thursdays I've been doing this weekly show for the Bronx Weekly Show, and I had Chablis Quarterman was my co-host. She's moving right now, so she's gonna be stepping away. But Camille Theobald does her she does her sketches, and then Tino Martin Romero does his puns,
Tito,
weekly puns. So it's like, you know,
Tito.
and then like I'll have a guest like tomorrow night I got PD Diabreu, and then like you know, I think last week I had Frankie French, and so I just keep trying to keep it.
Yeah. Keep a rotation. Keep it going.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see we got Comedy Pete too. Comedy Pete's watching us. Shout out to Comedy Pete.
Comedy Pete in the building.
Yeah, I mean, again, another comedian who didn't waste any time. He's doing his IG lives, and he's from Queens. He knew about Kenny Anderson too, because he's from Queens. But another comedian staying busy, and there's a lot of comedians doing stuff like we're doing, but there's a lot others not, and it's going to be interesting.
Well, look, when we come back, we already had the people that worked hard and the people that just were kind of coasting along or whatever. So, like, the people that were working hard, they're going to continue to be themselves. And then they, like yourself and myself, we got these projects that we started while the pandemic is happening. But these projects can keep going when the pandemic is over. And then now you got a little bit of, you know, you got promo, you got you know, some different, you know, lanes that you know, because like now when those guys come to New York, those guys that I've been interviewing, you know, these NBA guys, they all come travel here. They'll come through the comedy club, and we'll do photo ops, and we'll, you know what I mean, and we'll you know, big up everything. And and also during this pandemic, I learned how to edit, and that's like, it's, man. So I've edited.
Yeah.
And it's like I can do whatever I want to do.
Me too. We talked about that before. Since I've spoken to you, I got my YouTube channel up, and I got it organized. So I got a couple of stand-up clips. I got my 6 feet, 6 questions. I got my IG lives, 22 episodes. I got my not 6 feet. I got a couple of Facebook lives. So it's all organized. So my next step is the editing, to, you know, edit it down, all the dead spots. And then I need that, like the cover video, like the intro with the intro music.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. So I'm still going. And this is going to evolve. This is going to evolve into, this is all practice really, which I'm having fun. And, you know, starting with the content. But this is evolving to a podcast, 1. And 2, I got a show idea.
Right.
Like a little show idea that I can't get into. But yeah. So this is all the beginning. Like when this pandemic ends, whenever it does, this is going to keep going. I'm having fun. I found another outlet. This is so fucking cool. Man, so I'm kind of, Corona happy.
It makes you, though. It makes you, you know, you got different skills and you got different ways to promote your brand, and that's what the shit is all about. Really. You know, that people see your, even if they don't like it, eventually, just like a song you hear on the radio, you're like, man, I hate that shit. They play it too much, and then 2 weeks later, you singing the song. So if you keep hitting people with different stuff, then eventually, I mean, it's just like, man, this dude is working too hard. I gotta stop hating.
You gotta recognize.
Talking about, you know. Yeah,
definitely, and that's one of the parts of the comedy business that I failed and didn't address. Like, I hit the stage, I wrote, I'm out there, I'm hustling, I produce shows, but like the content, the marketing, the branding, that's where I fell off. Yeah. So I'm taking this opportunity to, you know, again, now I'm marketing, I got a brand, my YouTube channel is Hot Pudge Sunday. So I got my brand, I got a nice brand right there with the Hot Pudge Sunday YouTube channel, and just continue to grow and create content on a consistent basis.
Yeah,
very consistent.
The whole key, man. It's like you got to be consistent, because like people fall off, and then the person that kept going is the person that ends up getting, you know, the opportunity, and it was just because they was there and the timing was right. So, you know, I'm like, man, I might as well take advantage of this situation and like learn as much stuff as I can. Because when I come back, now I can do my promos for my own shows and show
Yeah.
little quick clips of people doing stand up. You know, just have
Yeah.
it just be popping. You know, just
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and you got to stand out right now, man. It's just so
It's
many
good to be the
people.
master. It's great to be the master of your own domain, to use a Seinfeld quote. But yeah, when you're in charge and you have all the skills, because that used to bother the shit out of me. I didn't know how to make a flyer. I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know how to do that. So now I'm just taking the time to learn, and then that just makes me more powerful. You know what I'm saying?
And save you some money too, because like just think about it. I was doing 9 shows a week that I'm producing. Either at the Pair or at the V Spot. So like with all of those, you got to make flyers. You got to post every day, and like now it's like I don't have to pay anybody for flyers.
Right.
Or if I want to do a promo, like a 30-second promo clip, it's just like I can just put it together so quick and easy,
Yep.
and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. We are. Tim Warner. Tim Warner put it best. We are LLC. We are our own LLC. That's what we are.
Yeah.
We are walking, talking. We're not comedians. We're LLCs. We are a business.
No question. That's exactly
And,
what you got to sell
yep.
yourself. You got to sell yourself because it's so many brands out there. What makes your brand, different? What makes your brand, special? And I'm just happy that I'm even got into comedy because when you got a quirky story like me being a black dude that when you see me you think he must be Haitian or African or something, and then I say I'm from Oregon, it's like, whoa, what's his angle? I play off that shit all day.
So let me ask you, getting into comedy, did you get into comedy in Oregon first and then decide to come here? Or did you just come here on the move, then do comedy? How did that come? What came first?
Here on the move, and then because I had been here for 8 years, and I started comedy in 2012, and it was just I was actually I like produced a book reading for one of my boys who's a big time author, Mitchell S. Jackson. He got this book called Residue Years and one called shit. The book is Residue Years. So we had the book reading, and Mike Brown was there watching one of his friends do a book reading, and he was afterwards. I hosted it. I was just trying to keep the crowd engaged, because my boy was always late. And then Mike Brown afterwards was like, "Yo, you kind of funny, man. You ever thought about doing comedy?" And I was like, "Yeah. I'm a barber, so I'm always talking shit and telling jokes."
Right.
Like, man, come to this open mic. And him and Kevin Williams and Monica Vita had a mic over in the West Village, the 13th Street Cafe or 11th Street Cafe, one of those.
Right.
And I started going there, and I just kept going. And then somebody told me, you got to go to different places. And I was like, man, I'm loyal. What are you talking about? And they was like, no, you got to go to different places. And that night, they took me to New York Comedy Club, and I did the open mic. And Steve Aarons came up to me, and he was like, you have a glint in your eye. I was like, what? And he was like, no, not like that. But he put me on one of his bringer shows, and then I did the bringer show. Coming from the barbershop, it was like people was like waiting for me to tell them to come out to a show. So when I finally said I had a show, it was the bringer show, 27 people came. And that was just the beginning.
Funny story. My very first official open mic was at New York Comedy Club on a Monday, and I didn't take 2 steps in the door, and Steve Aaron came right at me. I mean, this motherfucker knows. He just saw it he knows. You have a glint. You have a glint in your eye. I felt kind of offended because he approached me. And he right away wants to book me for his show. And I felt kind of offended because in my mind, I'm like, what are you going to put me on a show for? It's my first day. Right. I don't even know if I'm good. What are you doing? It's like, I don't know. I'm already nervous because I had a false attempt at comedy in I think '02, '03 that lasted a few months, but in '05, so I barely had any experience. So '05 was my official start at the New York Comedy Club open mic, and this guy's telling me, you need to do one of my shows. I'd love to have you. I'm like, dude, you don't even know if I suck.
Yo.
I totally did not understand. I thought he was. I'm like, what are you talking about? You never seen me. I'm just starting today.
Yo.
So I told him no, thank you. I told him no, thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I started with Steve. I kept going, doing the show once a month, and then after about maybe 6 months, they moved over to Broadway Comedy Club, and I was over there, and I hosted a couple times when their host didn't show up, and then man, once I did a show at Caroline's, and people, it was a bringer show, of course, but 45 people came out. So people was like, why are you doing shows at these places when you could produce your own show and all those people can come see you? And that was when I said, you got a point. And I started being a producer as well.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how when we start this career path, day one, we don't know nothing from nothing. We don't know nothing. I mean, zero. I knew nothing.
I couldn't figure out how to call back.
I didn't know how to write a joke. Somebody, thank God, told me about the Comedy Bible about 3 or 4 months in, and I was like, just like, wow, I get it now. But even then, just the business, the money, the bringers, the art of bringer shows, the purpose, the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones, the barking. I spent 6 months barking in Times Square. I also barked in the Village. But yeah, there's so much. It's not, it's a business class. You learn how the comedy club works, the 2-drink minimum, all that shit. And it's like, it's so.
And you learn the politics.
Yeah.
That's the other part, So now, when we started comedy, then social media became an aspect of it. So
right.
Great social media persona, where, I mean, I've seen it so many times. You got these, nice looking young ladies, they on social media, they showing bikini shots and everything the whole day. I mean, like they might be in the house cooking with a bikini on, and they getting mad followers, and then they getting booked for gigs, and maybe be ready or maybe not be ready, but they got this
it's the one thing I tell people, first of all, anybody I speak to about comedy or they even ask me, I tell them, don't do it. Go to college, go be a lawyer, be a doctor, be an astronaut. That's easier than being a comedian.
Yeah.
Because those have path. There's an actual path. There's go to 4-year college, 4-year law school, take your bar, and then, you know what I'm saying? Then go to 4-year college, go to med school, take your medical, whatever, and you know what I'm saying? To be an astronaut, there's no path for this. Yeah. It's a jungle. It's a jungle, and everybody's lost trying to find their way, and it's not fair, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to do your best, and it's crazy.
But that's why I'm not mad at the girls that take advantage of Instagram, because if it was reversed and I could do it,
yeah,
man, I would be using that to my advantage as well. Why not? Let me get my followers up. Let me, But when I see it, I'm like, damn it, we can't do it like them, No,
there's a lot of people. Also, not only girls and chicks, but just the younger generation, because I'm a person at that age. Not that I was anti-technology, I just didn't come up with it, so I wasn't quick. I wasn't on the ball with the social media. Yeah. I mean, I was so behind. I had one of my sisters had to hook me up on Facebook, and then my sister-in-law, I remember she's the one who got me on MySpace back in the day. This is how behind I was, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But getting back to your point with the girls, just the younger generation who are so quick on the keyboards, they have that set up. They're quick with the social media. They're quick with the followers. They're quick with everything. Everything. They got but they don't have the jokes.
Well, you know,
And that's where it differs.
it's. I think we're in
Yet,
a time frame where it's more. Everyone's looking for overnight celebrity status. They want to go viral. They want to let's go.
yeah,
And like when you're a little old school, you know that everything takes time.
yeah,
If it comes too fast, it's gonna go even faster. I mean, you know, I like the process of comedy. Now that I've done it and I've been doing comedy 8 years, and I think
yeah.
about all the stages that I shared with people, all the people that I paid, and it's like, man, I am a part of this fucking comedy scene in New York City, and I love it.
Yeah, well, that's awesome to hear you say. You like the process. That's the whole thing. You got to love the process. You got to enjoy the process, enjoy the growth, and be patient. Some comics are just not patient. It's you know they can create so much with their keyboards and their fingers, but when it comes to the comedy, there's no speed button. You know, I know some younger comics that are maybe 3, 4, 5 years old, and they're light years as far as the technology, the knowledge, and all of this. They're light years ahead of us,
Yeah,
but they don't have 5 minutes yet. They don't have a tight six,
yeah,
but they think they should be there. And I'm like, you can't rush it. It takes time, and you need to. And all the time that you take with the technology, which is awesome. Kudos. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of their technology minds and their fingers. I'm jealous. So I'm an old guy. I'm not get off my lawn, but I'm jealous. But I'm just saying to anyone who's listening, the comedy takes time, and you got to start out with your first 5 minutes. Okay, if you don't have a type 5, you don't have 20. I'm tired of hearing I got 15, I got 20, I got 30. No, you don't. You don't even have a type 5.
I'll be hearing everything. When these shows start back, my inbox is crazy. People hit me up. People that I've seen people bomb, you know, 4 or 5 times straight, hit me up and say they want to do a 30-minute special at the Pair, and I'm like, I don't think you like have asked about the way we do things, because we a little more like less politics. Are you funny, or do you have a following? And if it's neither one of those, then like, come on, man. Let's be
It's
honest.
You bring up a good point. Very. I've only had one. You're my second like comedy club proprietor slash owner slash booker. I had Al Martin about a month ago, and I forgot to ask him this question. I regret it. Hopefully, I'll get him on later. But I'll ask you because you already mentioned it. So, and comedians want to know, as the proprietor, as the booker, the owner, what is your process for passing a comic? What's in your head? Because I know it's like comedians, we're lost from the comic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know, as you know, at the Grizzly Pear, we put these big ass posters on the wall of the comics that are like house comics, and we started out with 20, 40 comics. Gabe Dorado
40?
is the other
Say
curator.
again. We coming in low.
40 comics. We started out with
Okay.
40 comics. Gabe Dorado, who's the other curator, he picked 20 and I picked 20.
Okay.
And then we kept building from there. And as we went along, we was like, our criteria is based on like your professionalism, you know, and that means like if you know, communicating to us that if you're gonna be late, you know, that type of thing, so that we can make the shows run as smooth as possible. You know how funny you are, you know, and we like that a comic is a working comic, that like either they're a road warrior or they are passed at another club, so that we can bring in comics that are like good, dope comics and good people, and then they can come to the dojo, and that's where we kind of, you know, get in the gym and develop our stuff. We got the Comedy Cellar down the block, which is probably the biggest club in New York City. And then you got Greenwich Village Comedy Club down the way, and the Grizzly Pear, which was a bar show, and now people are considering it a comedy hub.
Oh, it's serious. It's serious. I'll let you know. Word on it. It's serious. It's a comedy club. It's not a bar shop. It's serious. You brought it to that level that it's taken seriously. No, it's serious. You word on the street, social media, you see it. You see it. It's serious. And it's like, why? Because I've been in comedy longer than you.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was doing open mics, in that club, in that bar, that place. It was called the Village Ma.
Yeah.
Before that, so I go way back. I even know a gentleman who ran a comedy show out of there. It was Sal's Comedy Hole.
Right.
Sal, he's in Los Angeles now. He's pretty well known back in the day, and now he's out in LA doing his thing. So he's very well known, pretty respected, you know. And he ran Sal's Comedy Hole out of back there, and I remember. And then he moved it to another spot. But in all those years that I went there for his show, other people's shows, open mics, none of it comes close to what you created now. I mean, you just raised the bar through the roof to what it is now. It's it's hilarious. And I'm like, wow. I mean, my thought was, why didn't anybody do it sooner?
You know, I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, the one thing about people that I've learned is that people are like sheep. So they go by what everyone else says. I'm looking at it like we got a venue in the West Village, in the middle of the block between the Cellar and the Greenwich Village. You got the Village Landing around the corner. If we could organize this place and make it, I mean, people want to just go and do shows down there. They want to go from club to club. I've done nights where I've had a show in 3 out of the 4 clubs, you know, more than once. You know what I mean? And like, that's what we want to do as comics. We want to bounce around and do shows and work on our stuff. And so, like, I was just like, this is an opportunity for us to take advantage of.
Yep. You saw the opportunity. You had vision. You had vision.
And people were telling me, like, one dude told me, "Oh, you're gonna get blackballed," and I was like, "For what? For creating more stages for people? That don't make sense." I mean, you have people that try to talk you out of what you're trying to do. So you got to just get focused and just go straight ahead. And I'm glad that Gabe Dorado is such a, you know Gabe. He's a cool dude, man. And like, we like fire and ice. We work together well, man. And so we deal with, like, because we're dealing with a bunch of people, a bunch of personalities, and you got to manage.
Yeah, it's funny you said said you're going to get blackballed. That's I know that mentality. I know that mentality. It's a young comic, and I had it too. You know, I think we all had it maybe early on, because we're so eager to get past. We're so eager to get past and not piss anybody off. So you're running around with fear, and he's sharing his fear with you. Oh, well, don't do that, because you might get blackballed from the clubs around the neighborhood. But as you get older, like I did, and you're in the game, you realize your objective, and I want to share this to young comics. Your objective is not to get past. Your objective is to get on stage as much as fucking possible, work as hard as you can, and get as funny as you can for however long it takes. The passing will come. But don't put the cart before the horse.
Right.
The passing will come.
Yeah.
Just get on stage, whatever it takes, anywhere. Don't worry about if you worry about getting past, you're going to focus on just brown nosing, kissing ass, hanging out, but you're not going to be funny.
But you know me. You came to the Duck over there in East Harlem on 2nd
Fuck yeah, it was my favorite. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Restaurant up the block. We had Bolita that turned into what was that? Rancho Vegano. You came to what was that? Harlem on 5th up there in Harlem on 132nd. And so you see, like, I was just trying to get on stage myself. So I just created different places that I could, do a show, get up.
You do whatever it takes.
And that was it.
Yeah, you do whatever it takes. That's what I did. After like 3 years, I saw how hard it is to break in or to get past. And that's how I started producing in Queens. I started at the Laugh Lounge with Hot Pudge Sunday, First, I started assisting producing in Times Square Art Center at the Laugh Lounge. I helped out a little bit at Caroline's. And then once I got my feet wet, I did my own thing at Laugh Lounge. And then bars all over Queens for a minute. Because I got tired of barking. And I wasn't going to do any more bringers.
Yeah.
But you got to evolve. It's about stage time. It's not about getting passed. Passed is, what the fuck is passed? Especially in New York.
That's what I feel. I'm like, but it's sometimes that a comic is so driven, hardworking, and consistent. You want them to be a part of your movement, and that's what I think past is at the fair.
Yeah, I mean, past has a different meaning for everybody, but I mean, I'd rather work in several spots. Let's say. Instead of getting passed in one club, you know, I'd rather work in several, like in several spots. Maybe a club show here, a bar show here, a venue here, a road gig there. I'd rather be consistent, spread out, than just passed in one club. And then you hang on to that one club. And I don't know how it all works. All clubs are different, so I can't speak, give a blanket statement. But how much is that one club going to give you? Because there's other comics.
It depends on who you are, but most of the guys that get the most stuff from the clubs are at more than one club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for instance, all right, I'm gonna take Nico White for example. He's like the main comic at New York Comedy Club, but he's also at Caroline.
And Comic Strip.
He's also at the Cellar.
Yeah.
So like, you gotta kind of get in where you fit in and be available. Be available for every place. Don't try to like because you know how many people when me and Gabe Dorado first started taking over the operations at the Pair. We reached out to a few comics that kind of stuck their nose up at us and then came back to me later in my inbox like, hey man, I love what you're doing over there, and I love it. Shit, Pudge, we got to get you over there some more, Pudge.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I worked my way up. I'll donate my services for free. We'll talk about that later. Don't worry about that. But you hit something very important though that struck me: availability. You have to be available. That burned me because when I got passed at the Times Square Art Center, it was the most beautiful feeling. I don't begrudge anyone that's passed because everybody wants it, and I guess I was passed because it was that magic question or that statement that they make is send me your avails, and I got passed on a fluke because I walked into the place. They already knew me. First of all, it's a funny story. And this is good for young comics. I was co-producing a couple of shows, but they didn't know me from a hole in the wall.
Right.
But I'm just trying to find my way and whatever. Then I'm hosting one of these shows and a fight breaks out between the bouncers and some hecklers and right in the middle of the show, and I'm calling the fight. So there's a fight in the middle. I'm on stage about to bring up the next comic, and the bouncers and hecklers start fucking going. It was fucking WWE in front of the stage at Times Square Art, and I'm calling the fight. I don't know what I was like, holy shit. So I just start calling. I got a mic in my hand, so I'm talking, I'm calling. I don't even know what I'm saying. After it was all said and done, all the bouncers and the managers are like, yo, that was good shit, man. We heard you. And I was like, yo, Pudge, good shit. Now they knew my name.
Right.
Because now hey, Pudge, yo, Pudge. Now they knew my name. I was like, wow, that's how it works? Yeah. That's how it works. So, so a couple of weeks later now, I'm hanging out with a couple of comics, and we got nothing going on. Let's go watch a friend of ours at Times Square. Let's just go watch a friend and hang. And I'm walking in, and there's the manager, and it was like a slow motion movie. I'm walking in, he looks over, he looks at me, he's like, hey, Pudge, you want to do a spot? And I was like, yeah, Yeah, it was like a slow motion. He just pointed at me, Pudge, you want to? And I said, yeah, yeah. It was okay. I'll get you up after the next comic. I was like, whoa, what is this? And I went up and did 6 minutes, and he was watching me. He was watching me in the back, and I did very well. I did very, very well. And afterwards, that's when he gave me that magic statement that we comics want to hear. Send me your veils.
Right.
Send, send me your veils.
That is
Now,
beautiful.
getting back to my original point, I was on cloud nine. Chris Stefano was with me that night. Chris Stefano, we walked out and he was like, holy shit. Oh, we were like, oh my God. I was high as a kite. I was happy. I was like, holy shit, send me your veils. So to get to the point you were making that I was trying to make, my job was in retail.
Yeah.
My schedule was all over the place. My avails weren't good. It didn't, I mean, that was the highlight. That night but it didn't really prosper. Nothing against them. I don't, begrudge nothing. I'm not mad. I looked at the calendar and I'm like, this sucks. I'm not available enough. I looked at it and I'm like, I felt like shit. And that was the last day job I had. After that, I was pissed. That's why I went to cab driving. That's when I lost the job. I was on unemployment, but my next one, I said cab driving. I will not let a fucking day job, because I got the opportunity of a lifetime. I could have been in there with everyone else, hanging out, and just that would have been one of my homes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I lost the Laugh Lounge because they closed, and now here I am, and now this, and I can't. Availability.
Right.
Availability. You nailed it, and I remember that story, and I want to share that because it's like, if you're not available, what's the sense?
Yeah, that's the truth, man. Like, cause when we do the same thing at the pair, when I send them that message, like, yo, send your veils in, it's like, I can tell people be like, oh man, this is dope, cause it got real good at the pair, man. Right before this whole thing happened, man, with Fridays and Saturdays, man, it was sold out like 8, 10, and midnight would get close too. So it was, man. I mean, you know how the pair was. That shit was great.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's nothing like I've ever saw in my first 11 years in comedy. It's nothing. It's just it's official. It's pretty cool, and from scratch. And it's been sitting there. It's just, I find it funny. It's been sitting there the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like nobody picked up on it.
So the other thing, earlier, but the last year and a half, we wrote the script for McDougal Street. It's basically the story of, the black booker in New York City, the only one, and all the, trials and tribulations that I went through. We wrote.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think. Wow, the only black booker
in New York City.
You are the only black booker.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought about that.
Right. So we wrote the script, me and Queasy, Quasi, and we right now we're finishing up the contract stuff for the guy that's gonna shop it for us. So they're gonna do a year and let him shop it and see what happens. But this is a good time for a story like that.
That's crazy. That's unprecedented. That's groundbreaking. The only black booker. And okay, now you got me thinking. Was there ever a black booker before?
I'm not sure.
At a comedy club, the closest I could come to was at the Laugh Lounge. She was Latina. She was Latina, so there was a Latina booker at a comedy club, Delilah. She was Puerto Rican. I don't know. I'm brainstorming, but wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Do you feel a lot of weight on your shoulders because of that?
Yeah. Yeah. But also because I'm a comedian. So like I don't want to be that like booker that's like, oh, he put himself on the show, but he fucked the show up, I like shit, I got a standing ovation last year, and that was like a moment in comedy that not every comic, or no, not a standing ovation. I got a encore. I came off stage, slapping hands in the back of the pair, and the crowd was like, "One more joke," and the host brought me back up. This is 2019, and I mean, that's something like, I mean, you can't even explain it. It's just like to win the game. They was like,
but that's a great.
I go back up on stage and hit them with 2 more jokes and get applause breaks for both of them, and then I just walked off stage.
That's a great motivator. I love that motivation, because you can't be the coach and the player, and you suck as the player. You know what I'm saying? Because you're both. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great motivator to kick ass.
Yep.
You gotta
catching bodies.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, because because the comic mentality to a lot of bookers and managers. Well, you ain't a comic, you never been up there, or you don't know. But because you're doing both roles and wearing both hats, you gotta flex. You gotta flex. You gotta pump it and be like, I did my reps 100.
My favorite thing is to take the people's tickets and seat them, pack the room out. So they talking shit to me like I don't want to sit here and all that, and then I come up on stage and say, "Y'all thought I was just a ticket taker, didn't you?"
Yeah, I've had that. You know, I've had that a few times. It's challenging. I think that's why a lot of comedians don't want to do it. I produced a lot of shows to wear multiple hats. I don't know if you go through this, but when I was producing shows, I was the host, you know what I'm saying, / producer, and it was hard to stay focused. It's like my brain got split in half. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like it's funny, because I was producing shows for stage time to get better as a comedian, but in some aspect, but the producing got so heavy, it took away from the comedy, and I was doing too much hosting, like I was hosting, but got too much crowd work, and I wasn't writing.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like a 22.
I like to have a host, because I like to come up like fourth in the lineup and just boom, boom, just like whatever the first person or second person did. When you get to third or fourth, that's when the crowd, they looking for that somebody to hit them with some different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know it's hard, but yeah, that's good. I couldn't afford a whole. I'm on a tight budget with a bar show, so I had to host it myself.
Yeah.
So thank God you have your own host, because you can host if you want and work that muscle. You don't have to. Yeah. I didn't have a choice, and it kind of fucked with me. Towards the end, but then I got, it's like on the one hand my crowd work got really good, but then on the other hand I lost my writing, because I wasn't, and because I'm trying to hold the show up. I'm trying to carry the show. So it's tough. This is why comedians don't do it. They just want to be a comic. I just want to be a comic. I just want to perform. I don't want to host. I don't want to produce. I just want to perform. All right, whatever.
I want to know how to do all that shit. And then in the long run, I can figure out what I like doing the best. And then I still dibble and dabble in all of it, because I like to be diverse.
We got to wrap it up. We got to wrap. My last question, because I know it's some people have mentioned it to me, and it's been in my head. And I'll ask you, because you have the experience. Would you ever consider opening up a real comedy club somewhere else, like outside of the state, something like all you, 100%?
I'm gonna open up a club in Portland. That's where I'm from, and I got a good constituency of friends that's all rich. So when the time
you got the investors.
Yeah, I got the investors. That's not a problem. I don't want to do anything and not be 100% ready. So
all right,
I'm just getting prepped.
Yeah, because some people I've thought about it, and some people have told me, "Oh, you produce, you do this, you do that. You should own a comedy club or run." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's nice to have a business, but I want to be a comedian first. I don't know. Let's wait and see. But we have the knowledge. We're getting the knowledge, so it's like, so it's all good. It's not a no. But I was just wondering if that ever jumped in your head, because.
Oh, I'm doing that, no doubt.
Okay.
New York Comedy be in Portland, Oregon.
Oh shit! When's the grand opening?
I ain't gonna say yet.
All right, all right. Coming soon. Coming soon. And yo, Kenny Warren, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on Hot Pudge IG Live.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Stay up and keep working hard.
No worries. Any last promos? Any shout outs? Anything you want to push?
Just watch Blazing Trails with a Roadrunner Monday nights at 8 p.m. Watch the Bronx Weekly Show Thursdays at 9. And Pudge, you get ready to come to the pair, man. We need you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll be at your service. Be good, Kenny Warren. God bless. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Warren from the Grizzly Pear Comedy Club. Wow. That was real cool. Very fucking cool. Very insightful. And something I got to ask him that as far as booking, like what does it take to pass? I thought that was quite interesting. That was very interesting, very insightful. I think I want to line up every single comedy club owner / booker and ask them, what the fuck is it that you're looking for? Because there's about 1,000 of us trying to find a home, and we don't know how to get in. So awesome. Thank you, Kenny Warren, for sharing with us. And let's see what happens. Again, he's busy. I'm busy. Comedy Pete Live. He's busy. And hey, just stay busy and stay healthy. Comedy is coming back. Comedy is coming back. I don't know when. Maybe September, maybe January, maybe next March, but it is coming back. And we're going to be ready. And we're going to be rocking and rolling. And the Grizzly Pear will be up and running. You saw how Kenny is. And yeah, he blew that place up. And he's going to have one in Portland, Oregon. So that's going to, there's a lot coming in the future. Very exciting. Very exciting. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for another episode of Hot Pudge IG Live. If you missed this episode or any other episodes, go to my YouTube channel, Hot Pudge Sunday on my YouTube channel. Check it out. There's Hot Pudge IG Live, 6 feet, 6 questions, a couple of comedy clips, and a couple of Facebook Lives. It's all up there. Check it out. I'm not that bad looking. I'm pretty funny. Just check it out. Hot Pudge Sunday. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a good night.